So, recently I came across this Fujifilm S2 Pro Finepix camera. Got it really cheap on shopgoodwill.com. The only problem with it is, if you can see here, there is some corrosion down in the battery. You can see down in there's corrosion. And so I need to take this apart and clean that corrosion out. And to all intents and purposes, I should have a nearly brand new and good shape Fujifilm Finepix if I do all that. So this section of what am I calling this? This section of main life hacks is going to be how to restore Fujifilm Finepix when the battery compartment has corrosion in it. So go grab a cup of coffee, get settled in. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to use my Fix-It kit along with this camera. Picked that up at Micro Center for about $20 over the holidays. I'm going to keep a nice little compartment here to keep my components in as they come out. And first thing we want to do is take the little screw out in this battery compartment. And these things are funny. They actually take two sets of batteries. They take some 3-volt batteries here, and then they also take a tray of AA's that are inserted this way. It's the AA tray that's not making contact because the contact is corroded, which I'll show you. If you couldn't really see it, I'll show you when we get into it. And so if you look here, if you hold this so, and you look right in between the two terminals, there's one screw right there that has to come out. And since I'm using the Japanese industry standard bits and they're magnetized, take them out, put that one in container 1, and then I will just follow right along. This one will come out. It's going to be a total of 13 screws altogether. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Generally, I like to try to keep each section in the bottom there. Alright, so that being the case, this should come off now. This piece right here should come right off. And there shouldn't be anything holding it on, if memory serves. Oops, unless I forgot a screw here, which I did. No worries, I haven't broken it yet. And that's 5. Okay, so then that comes off just like so. Set that to the side. This, let me see here. This comes out somehow. Let me try to remember how. And so let's take a look at this for a second and see where we are at I do know that this piece comes out somehow. I don't remember exactly, because it has been a while since I have taken one of these apart. This is the contact right here that's corroded. And actually, I can almost get to that. Take these two off as well. One. Two. And then, because this whole back end does have to come out. Three. Four. And I do know that somehow this comes loose. I just don't know how. Oh, there it is. There it is. It just slides right out. And as I said, there's a wire that's attached to this, so gently finesse it out and don't start pulling. And then this back will come off after we take these two screws out. So this back comes off. Let's see if we got a screw in here. Do not, I have removed that already. Oh, these two. I actually took the wrong two out. I took the wrong two out. I gotta go over here and see why my other camera isn't. You need to quit quitting. You're not a quitter. I don't like quitters. Alright. Let's keep this thing going. Keep this show going. One. Oops. And two. This one's out already, and so this should just pop right off right here. Should. It certainly should. However, you have to be a little gentle with it because there is a couple of cables that are located in here. Actually takes a little bit of, what is this here, holding it. There we go. Well, Something somewhere is binding. It should not be. I guess these two have to come out too. Although I actually thought that this would come loose from all of that. But perhaps not. See if perhaps these two are holding it in. Okay. I had forgotten you got to take this one. And this one as well. And there's the two problems. These are the two problems right here. Right here. Two problems right here. Right here. Alright. Now, look, it just falls right off. So, but you got to be careful right here. You've got two cables connecting. And so, very gently, and what I like to do is use my tweezers. I like to disengage this one. And I need to get in here in a way that I can get it without it's too much work. Let's just use a thumbnail. It's actually a little more sturdy than most plugs and cameras. Yeah. Just unplug that, and then this ribbon cable unhooks like so. It flips forward. So you got to be very careful not to break these, because once you've broken them, they're impossible to replace. But generally, oh, this one may have a little, nope. Generally these just flip up. I think these are locks here that have to, maybe not. Perhaps it's sturdier than I'm giving it credit for. Let's see. What I do know is you have to be very gentle, because if you break these, they stay broken. There it goes. Yeah, so it does just flip up, and then that slides out, like so. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that concludes phase one of getting this out and cleaning it. And so now, this is as far as I've ever been. I've got to figure out how to take this bottom off and take it loose so that I can clean this contact right here. So bear with me. That is my next endeavor. It just so happens I've got things loose. So this needs to come out. This can be unplugged right here, according to the literature I've got. Well, supposedly that unplugs right there. Alright, so that's going to have to see. And so the first thing we should do, according to this, is take this little screw out right here. According to the literature. Alright, so that's out. And then, that's one. Number two, we need to unplug this little fellow right here. Okay, that was easy enough. That one, no problem. Another number one is this screw right here, which I don't know where that needs to come out, but I guess it does. And you know why it does? Because it says it does. Alright, number three was to disconnect these up here. All right. Okay, easy enough. Easy peasy so far. Supposedly we got to unhook this fellow here. Okay. And then there's this one to be unhooked. Okay. All that is done. And then that one, you got three. Number four is to lift that up. Supposedly. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, these are supposed to be unplugged as well. There's that one. And then there's that one. Fair enough. I see it now. And there it is. Now this should lift out. According to the schematic, this should lift, and it's not lifting out. So am I missing a what? What am I missing? And so the question is, so this hook and that hook are definitely there. Are these connected? So it appears there's a hook here. Yep, there is a hook here. And so this hook's going to have to be, there it goes. And so this is the main power assembly right here. And it says it's to be removed in the direction of the arrow. However, it seems like something is holding it. This is supposed to all come out together, which is possible, I suppose. Alright, so there's that hook. So there's another hook here that somehow is not letting go. So that's the hook right there that's being the hard one to get along with. So I've got another hook here that's being difficult. there is another screw in there that is not, yes it is, I just didn't see it. And so, with the removal of this screw, it should come out easily, I'm certain of it. Alright, let's see where we're at here now. This was supposed to come forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I've got all the hooks, I've got all the screws. And there it is. Get out of your hole. And then this, ladies and gentlemen, comes out in this manner. And that little wire wants to grab, so be careful of that. And so, here we are with this. This is where we're at, right here. And we are trying to now remove this part. And so, let's go on. Okay, so now we're dealing with these two. These screws here. And we're out of spaces in our box, so I'm going to go ahead and set these aside here. This is a lot of hell to have to go through just to clean a contact, isn't it? So we got those two screws there. And then it says, alright, so that allows that to come out. Very good. Very good. We are nearing the end, my friends, because this is the piece right here that's corroded, you see. And then according to the schematic, there is perhaps another okay, so none of this we need to mess with. All of that's fine. We've just got to figure out now, and it doesn't deal with that in the schematic. We've just got to figure out how to get this away from the plastic. And I think that the two culprits are going to be these two clips right here. And I think that once we get those two clips disengaged, then we will be able to remove, but the problem is that it's soldered in. Okay, so we're going to have to clean this contact through here. So this is as much disassembly as we're going to do. All right, everybody, stand by. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so here we have the solution to this problem in the form of a little bit of white vinegar and some Q-tips and a new toothbrush. Why do I use a new toothbrush? Because they're not that expensive and it's just nasty. It's nasty to use an old one. New toothbrush. New. Alright. So, we are going to take this thing. This is where all of our corrosion lies. So you really want to take your white vinegar and get the Q-tip really wet, because you don't want any hairs to snag into this, and you just want to let it soak this contact. This is one of the dangers, and I got some hairs in there anyway. One of the dangers of using or leaving batteries, especially old alkaline batteries, in your electronic devices. Don't do it, guys. Don't freaking do it, because it's nasty and it's corrosive and it's hard on your stuff. And I don't know if we can save this or not. I'm certainly going to try. I don't want to have to desolder that, take it out, and mess with it any more than what's necessary. This is an old antique digital camera, basically. They've got their own following, so it's the only reason I'm really even messing with it. But as you can see, I'm going down through here, and I'm really going to clean this thing off. I'm not going to mess around with it. I don't want to have to ever do this again. One of the things that you will see is it corroded enough, and whoever left it in there enough that it bent. Yep, it's done. That's what I was afraid of. So the contact is dead, and it corroded all the way out. And so now we can go ahead and put all this on hold. I have to disassemble this the rest of the way, because that has broken loose. You see? And it's done. Done. And so I will be tearing this down the rest of the way, and we'll come up with another fix. Stay tuned. Actually, we might as well keep it going, hadn't we? So I might as well show you the rest of the fix, since we got it going this far. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to plug the soldering iron in. Don't let that sucker start getting hot. Get this out of the way. So we'll let this warm up. And we're going to take this metal piece off. Then we're going to get another metal piece, and we're going to put this son of a gun all back together. And if I have to, I'll fabricate the metal piece, although I don't really want to do that. I'd like to try to find one. But this is a lean life hack, so we're going to do it as cheaply as possible. Yep, it's unfortunate. We were not able to clean that terminal. We're not able to, because it had corroded itself all the way through. Okay, and then the most important thing is get rid of your vinegar before you start. That's the most important thing. Because that vinegar done us no damn good. And it may be that we don't need that soldering iron after all, now that I'm looking at this. So I'm going to set the soldering iron. That's hot, surprisingly. And so I got to get this little piece off right here, so that I can then get to my. There it is. And then that slides right off. And so what I might try to do, what I'm thinking here, is possibly just solder a piece onto this. And so if I can solder a piece onto this just to make contact, I can get by, I think. Yeah, because that is so corroded right there. And then actually I can probably even just build up solder onto that to where it will make contact. And so I will use a lead-free rosin core solder and go from there. I would like to have another piece of metal perhaps to lay in there, but I don't have that at this point in time. And I don't think okay, well, maybe we'll try to keep it going then. Alright guys, so this probably isn't the most beautiful answer ever, but after finishing this, what I chose to do was I just built a little bridge of solder. I messed around with this little piece. That didn't work. So I used a solder bridge, and the way this should work is this should fit in there, and it should make adequate contact to run the camera. We're going to put it back together now and see if that is the case. Hopefully we're going to have a working camera when we're done. So now we've got to try to remember how we took this thing apart. Let me throw this stuff away, get this solder out of my way. Hold on, we've got a little bit of changing to do. Okay, so I took this piece off and I didn't need to. Oops. Well, I kind of did though, actually, to be able to get to it. So now I've got to, first things first, I got to work this silly thing back on. And so, here begins the episode. And so if I'm going to put it back on the way I took it off, I started getting these off first. And so, if you look, you can see where these clips line up. They should go on a heck of a lot easier than they came off, theoretically. And so let's hope that they do. Yeah. Let's see, what is holding this up? That piece right there. There we are. And why are you being hard to get along with? Because of that piece right there. There we are. And then this fits in. Actually, it fits in under that. Like so. Aha! Got that back together with no trouble. Now, we have to try to fit this apparatus back into this let's see. I know it has to go this way, and so gently does it, because if you get to yamming and a jamming, I can assure you that at some point in time you will do yourself in, as I have been apt to do many times. There, that is back in appropriately. And it hasn't been that long since we took this thing apart, so let's see, that's going to sit like that. Okay, so now we got to get this board back in. And then once we get this board back in, we can start putting our screws back in. Before we do that, though, let me make sure that I didn't take any screws out. Screws that held this battery assembly in. Or was there even any? I don't think there was any that held this in. I think that just came right out. Alright, so I don't recall whether I had any what screws I had. Wait. Okay, so I didn't need to remove. What does it say? Cannot recall what screws hold this in, if any. Okay, so the ones we're looking for, guys, are right here. You remember we took them out of these two holes. And that is in my light right there. So if I was smart, I wouldn't go losing those. So, no, let's not get in a hurry. Oh, there's the problem. I got the wrong bit. And so it's not going to go in. Alright, so we will take this screw and put it there. And then we will take this screw and put it here, like so. And so, we've got that back in. We'll put the bottom two in later. Alright, so now we have to try to get this silly old circuit board back in. And one of the things I know we're going to have to do is hold this ribbon cable in this manner. And we are going to want this to go in the same manner which it came out. And so this is going to have to be out of the way as well. Now, this is the part of this project that I feel is going to probably cause the most grief and aggravation. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm fairly confident I'm not. Let's see here. So we came out this way, and this wants to always hang, this little fellow here. And quite often what I do with little tidbits like this is I tape them, but I don't have any tape handy right this second, and so I'm just going to try to finesse him in there. And out of the way, this has got to come up because it has to plug back in. And if we can just get it to slide in like this under the clips and whatnot, then I think we'll be alright. It's always fun when a project like this works out. Never really very fun when it doesn't. But most of the time, if you take your time and you're conscientious of what you're doing, it does. I've had really good luck working on gadgetry like this. Okay, now we've got it pretty much set into where we want it to go. We got these ribbons coming up like we want them to be. It's okay for that to be down. We need these to go into their assigned slots, and so they have to go down at an angle. This has to fit in here like that, and so this must fit down in its slot like that. Okay, slowly but surely back in she goes, and then yep, clicking and clacking. And of course we're running into an issue up here with these cables, wanting to sink back below the board. And we got two clips here, here and here, that we have to accommodate. And by golly, we have accommodated them. There's one clip here, So this has to ride back into the body a little better than it is in order for this clip. Perhaps we can move this clip some. There it goes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as hard as it is to believe, this thing is slowly going back together. So I remember that we've got 2 screws here. If you remember this, we've got one here. One right here. Yep, we have one here. Because this is the one I forgot to begin with. We have one here. Okay, that one doesn't fit there. Let me see what we're doing wrong here. So either it's the wrong screw, which is likely. Oh, I believe I might have gotten the wrong screw for that one. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is the moment of truth. Let's see if this number 1 will go in, number 2 will close. It will close. It will go in, it will close. Number 3 will turn on. It turned on, ladies and gentlemen. We have fixed this camera, kind of. And so, we have the first part, at least, working. Let's see here. Yeah. And so, I guess we need to get the other batteries in. So this is somewhat working. Somewhat. All right, it's a good start. Of course, there's no card in it. Manual settings, menu, it shows up lit up. Let's turn it off a second. I have a card right here. I have a CF card right stinking here. Let's see what it does. I don't have a lens for this. Let's see if this CF card makes a difference. Again, everything's working on the back. Menu. That light comes on, but I don't know what it takes to. I'm guessing we got to have batteries in this other side. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will call this one fixed. I got to get a lens for it. I got to get a secondary set of batteries here. Now that I know my battery bridge worked, I probably have to take it apart again and straighten those cords out, but that one's fixed. Thank you again for another endeavor and for staying with me.
This is Scott Smith with Lean Life Hacks. You have a good night.